game. $14 can't beat the price. Great art style, great concept. Good luck beating all 38 monsters without progressing and leveling up. You know what I mean?
All right, very
Can't beat
sick.
it.
Thank you, brother. All right, now I want to go into, dude. I got to check out this movie, Happy Death Day. I was so freaking jazzed when I walked out of this sucker. Now, I'm not sure if anyone else is familiar with it, but Nix and I were talking about it.
I have not seen the film, but I watched the trailer.
Okay, cool. You want to tell our audiences what you know about the film?
This girl knows she's gonna die, and is this the one where she keeps repeating the day that she dies?
Yes, but she doesn't know she's gonna die.
Well, I mean, she does after she dies.
Well, after she dies, yeah.
So basically, this girl gets killed, and she keeps repeating the day, and needs to not get killed.
So it's a horror film.
It's Groundhog's
Day. It's a Groundhog's Day horror film.
It's more of a teen slasher, and after actually seeing it, it has more in common. It definitely Groundhog Day similarity, but it has more in common with what's it called? With Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, okay.
Because it becomes more of a fight-oriented movie, and I love that.
Instead of reliving the entire scene, they shorten it. Like, oh, she decided to do it this way this time.
Exactly, and she's planning to take this sucker out now. She's figuring things out, and then she's attacking the situation.
Was she being a naughty girl?
Well, the whole thing. Let me read the synopsis because it kind of describes it perfectly. One to think. Tree Gelbin wakes up again, and her name is Tree.
Her name is Tree.
Her name is Tree.
Maybe that's why she's repeating
her name is Tree, but she's not a hippie. She's like a sorority girl, and she's really self-centered.
Sorry to interrupt. Her name is Tree.
Her name is Tree. She wakes up again and again on the same day, her birthday, only to be murdered and restart the process until she finds out who killed. Okay, no more talk when I'm giving the breakdown, man. But it's a movie that would seem like, okay, we're gonna watch her do this and she's gonna die. We're gonna watch her do this, she's gonna die, and then someone's gonna help her. And it's like, no, she takes matters into her own hands. And first she starts just living it up and just going balls to the wall. But then it becomes a fight. It's like, okay, this fool is going to kill me. How do I kill them first? And I love that. I'm like, how many slasher movies are you watching and saying to yourself?
She goes on offense.
Yeah. Like, why are you constantly playing the victim and you're just okay with this? Or you just accept it as an inevitability? She's like, I'm in this situation. Someone's going to kill me. They've killed me repeatedly. I'm going to take them the F out. And she starts hunting.
Do we find out why the day's repeating?
That's the thing we don't find out. Much like Groundhog Day, the aforementioned Groundhog Day, it's just a supernatural event that happens, and it has a trigger. We eventually find out what the trigger is later on in the movie, and that part I thought was freaking cool because it was very unexpected. This movie actually throws you a twist. It definitely throws you a twist, and if you know what it is ahead of time, like if someone spoils it for you, you might think it's a MacGuffin. In the moment, though, you have no idea. You're completely oblivious. And I never suspected it once, and I love that. It's very hard to be caught off guard by cinema today.
Yeah.
Everything's been done. I mean, they'll remake old movies, and you'll say, I've seen this before. I'm calling the shots as they happen. Stuff like that. Well, this is, you walk in, and you think, I've seen Groundhog Day and Edge of Tomorrow, hopefully. And I know everything that this movie's going to throw at me. And then it throws you a curve of her reaction. It throws you a curve of the actual twist in this movie. It throws you a curve of who the killer is. Because you think you have it figured out, and then once you realize, oh, I guess not, so now I've got it. And each time they throw you a different curve, and you think you've got the logical one in your head, you'll never see it coming. And I know that might be a spoiler to say that the one you suspect is not the killer, but it's just beautiful when you do. It'd be great
if they had like a nemesis system, so if she lobbed off his hand,
you lopped off my hand! I hate you! This was not set in Mordor.
It's just so unfortunate because it would really make so many horror movies so much better.
What if they were set in Mordor?
Well, I mean, I just want everything set in Mordor, but I just mean that nemesis system. Imagine it applied to other things,
like random stuff. And like, imagine if you just punched your boss in the face, she comes back and you hops out on the bushes in front of your house.
Well, one interesting facet of this, she does herself retain like damage received from the different killings.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't.
That's like in the form of scars, or
in the form of scars, internal damage. Like if this character kept killing her and she hadn't gotten out of the loop, which I mean, spoilers. It's a movie, she does. But if she hadn't gotten a loop, she would eventually just like die and not physically be able to come back. Maybe that's pretty cool.
So it's Groundhog's Day with a timer.
Kind of. And that timer is your body is gradually decaying. You are retaining the damage. You get stabbed. She wakes up with a
Does
scar.
the killer
next day.
retain the damage too?
The killer does not retain the damage, and you'll find out why if you go see Happy Death Day. No, this is a Blumhouse movie. We mentioned earlier.
Yeah, you were saying that.
This is the third horror slasher thriller movie they've released this year, and Split was big.
Fantastic, actually.
Great Get Out was groundbreaking and blockbusting.
Yeah.
And this one even had a great opening weekend. It was #1 in the box office. Even crushing
successful films
Blade
so
Runner 2049.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Kind of expected for Blade Runner.
Well, you didn't like Blade Runner.
No, we talked about it. I love it.
We talked
I
about
love that
Blade
movie.
Okay.
But for this movie, is it horror? So there's many different subcategories of horror. Is this a horror that leans heavily on the gore, leans heavily on the thriller? Is it an action horror?
This one leans more on suspense. It's definitely an action horror for the latter half of the movie, but it leans more towards suspense because it throws a lot of red herrings at you. It's just like the killer has a particular look, kind of like Ghostface in the Scream movies.
Yep.
But that's also a common garb around campus, and that part's never explained. That really bugged me at the end because I'm just like, okay, I see what you're doing, and I understand why you're doing it, but why this? But in the end, you stop caring. Like, that's the thing, that this movie wins you over by just being good, by just being entertaining. Parts of it are really funny.
That's all you need. Like, is it a good movie? Did you walk out being like, man, I'm glad I watched that?
Yeah, it was definitely one of those where it's like, I'm not going in expecting Shakespeare, and I'm walking out just like, yes!
That off loveth my hand, it's off.
That's not how they talk. I would highly recommend Happy Death Day. It's a movie with a relatively new cast of people. It's really well directed. It's really well acted. You believe all the characters. You get into the story and you like it, and it's satisfying by the end.